Welcome back to Red Business in Focus, with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices, where we're bringing you all the business news, inspiring entrepreneurs and sharing business success stories. This week we're joined by Dan of The City Heads. The City Heads is a forward-thinking enterprise with the promotion of mental health advocacy at its core. They deliver online and on-site workshops around mental health advocacy and awareness, which is constructed around a set of animated cartoon characters, as well as storytelling and very popular advocacy packs. Dan is with us now. Dan, how are you, sir?
Not too bad. Thanks so much for having me.
I've spoken to you a few times, and you're one of my favourite guests from the audio podcast, because it's just such a brilliant social initiative. We hear lots about businesses that make things and develop things. You're in a slightly different space. So we're going to give you the traditional 30 seconds. I've given a bit of a snapshot of what you do there, but in far better terms than I could possibly do, tell us what you do in City Heads.
Yeah, you didn't do a bad job now. Look, the City Heads, we're a forward-thinking social enterprise with the promotion of mental health advocacy at our core. How do we do it? So it's about online workshops. It's about telling a story, empowering people from a very personal story point of view. We use the set of animation characters to help us tell that story, and then essentially we round it off, giving people that opportunity to advocate in a very visual way in their communities with the help of our advocacy apparel, because a lot of it's centred around that aspect of visual mental health advocacy.
Very good. So when we're talking about this, like, you think animation, but you can take the hat off, by the way. We're going to come to the hat in a minute, because it gets sweaty under the lights.
Yeah.
So take the hat off. We'll come to them because they're a very important part of this. But when you come to talking to adults, like, animation wouldn't be the first port of call, because you think animation and kids. So why did you go down that road? Yeah,
well, look, as I said, it's born out of a personal story, and I think I came to a stage in my own life where I just wanted to express my own story in a different way, and essentially externalise the labels that I was feeling myself. So we started to sketch just a set of sort of different characters, and they took on different characteristics, all associated with actually the story that we've gone through. And we sort of pitched that to third level students at the time. And for whatever reason, adults and kids and everyone in between started to relate to it. So we sort of ran with that and explored a bit more in the first couple of months into the first year. And I think people are really sort of understanding of the way we tell the story. Although the characters look very colourful, when you start to get into them in a bit more depth, their characteristics and features are actually, they all hold a certain message. So there's a very serious undertone there.
That's important as well, because this is a story that you've told from a very personal perspective, and Michael as well. The two of you come at this because of a lived experience.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very important to say, because, you know, we make it very clear through every kind of dealing that we do when we're delivering a workshop. We're not professionals, we're not psychiatrists, psychologists, or our degrees are in business. And that was a sort of question that we had at the start. Will people connect to this personal story? A very powerful story. And it seems that they did. And they want to hear from that sort of average person on the street, and what they went through, how they overcame it, how they're living with it. Because that's a big thing as well. We explain how we're actually still living with mental health issues on a day-to-day basis. And I think people respect that sort of honesty, you know.
The characters, I mean, we've got little one here. Who's this?
This is Brain. He's the central character. So we've 5 characters in total, 4 of whom represent a specific mental health condition that we've been through or experienced or been diagnosed with. And then there's this guy. Essentially, he started off representing myself dealing with these silly heads on a day-to-day basis. So he's the central character, small in stature, but a very big role to play.
I told you to take off the hat because I was worried about the heat, but it's in the summer months, so you know you shouldn't need the hat this time of year, but there's a significance to the hats as well.
Yeah, no, of course it's summer months, but I mean, I mentioned the advocacy apparel. It's the same with the hoodie that I'm wearing here, because the workshop is heavily focused on that visual aspect about really making connections through what people see. The products come in a multitude of colours, but they come with different features. Like on the back it says stigma-free head. This comes off just to attempt to start a conversation, and there's a message on the inside as well. And all that is really to sort of say, look, you've seen our workshop. We think we've empowered you to go and advocate on behalf of yourself or friends and family. Here's a way that you might be able to break the ice in conversation.
The fact that this is a business is unusual, because it's something that is worthy, but sometimes it's hard to turn something worthy into an actual business. So how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, you're dead right. It is a fine balancing act, because it is very socially, it's a social aspect. It touches everyone. So I'll be honest, we're sort of, we're walking that, if you could call it a tightrope on a daily basis, just trying to balance about promoting the business, and obviously we're trying to sustain ourselves in this area as well, without actually sort of going into complete sales mode and complete, taking the mickey really out of what the space of mental health is, because that's nothing, we don't want to go anywhere near that because it's such a passion. So look, I mean, the way we do it, we're very respectful of sort of the marketing that we do. We've got a certain kind of sales strategy that we do. We've luckily some fantastic partners who sort of respect the area that we're in, and it naturally flows. Thankfully, it's naturally flowed to the point where we can retain business and win new business.
Where did the local enterprise office come in? Because when you started out in this journey, you did need help, because look, sales definitely isn't your thing by the sounds of it, but running a business obviously was a little bit outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the local enterprise office came into it. Actually, we ran an accelerator program, Student Inc. We had an end-of-year showcase, and look, this is how it happened. A part of our pitch was we take off the pom-pom and we throw it into the crowd, being very quirky that we are. And it was actually Paul McGurk at the time, the business manager, caught the pom-pom. So the idea was to give away a free pack, and we built up a great relationship in there like that. It was very quirky, it was very different. And from there, we started to work very closely together, whether that's delivering workshops or, getting out there and promoting business. So they've been a huge help, and one of our biggest supporters literally from the very start. And
you're moving now to what's next. So tell us about the Huggy. What's the Huggy?
Yeah, the Huggy is what I'm wearing. So it's essentially an oversized hoodie that essentially, the idea is to sort of wrap yourself in a hug without getting a physical hug. This has been in the pipeline for about 2 years. It's a lot with subtle messaging. We've got a QR barcode on the actual care label. So if you scan that, it brings you to the support page on our website. So if you're having a conversation with a friend and you need to signpost, which is a big thing about what we do, you've got a little furry little inline hood here for those sort of relaxing days on the couch on a Sunday. We've a hidden message under the hood. So this is all, the Huggy in itself and the hats, they all tell their own little story. They all have their little ways of engaging with people. And then obviously quality is a big thing for us. So it's that's why it took so long with everything that's going on in sort of supply chains and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and there's inevitably going to be a little bit of impact from COVID and else. But COVID helped you, didn't it? Because it helped you migrate a lot of what you were doing to an online version.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no business plan could have sort of foreseen, I suppose, the pandemic. What came at that was mental health as a social sort of aspect of people wanting to really do something, jump the queue. And we sort of fell in there at the right time. Now we did put a lot of planning into it and stuff, but again, a lot of corporates and a lot of other businesses came to us, and we ran with it, and they really liked what we do. So timing was important, yeah.
So what's coming up in July for you? What are you going to be doing?
Okay, so initially the plan was to, we've recorded the workshop now, so we're in there with the characters. This is again with an aspect of sort of scalability in mind, giving people access to this very powerful content without us necessarily having to be there. And so now we're starting to roll it out a bit sooner than we actually planned. It was meant to be September. So now it was going to be a lot of sales and marketing, and now we're into actually giving people access to the content 2 months earlier. So yeah, it's exciting. Things change very quickly, and we're rolling with it. But it's that online offering now is where we're focused at.
I mean, having spoken to you a few times over the last 12 months or so, it's brilliant to see the ideas evolving and the connections that you're making and the very real impact that you're making on people's lives. So that there's more to business than just going out there and selling products. And I think you're the epitome of that. What's the website for people who want to look it up?
Yeah, dasillyheads.com, DA Sillyheads, like you said, there in Cork, that's where it came from. So keeping it cool. Dasillyheads.com and the Silly Heads across social as well, if you want to see what we do.
And that's it for this episode of Red Business in Focus, with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices. Don't forget, you can look back at every single episode on our website, redfm.ie. We'll catch you on the next one.